everybody, it's Carrie. How are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. I am so excited to be here once again to do the 25 days of planner tips hosted by Tamra at the Paper and Pen Girl. So you have 25 days of planner tips in December based on one theme, and Tamra always picks the best themes, and this year she has chosen getting the most out of your planner, whatever that may mean to you, right? So like I always say, I can only speak for myself, but I thought we would talk a little bit today about that, about getting the most out of our planner. Now, if you are here from the person who came before me, who was Marcia at Buy Sell Plan, thank you for joining us. Welcome. And tomorrow, after my video, tomorrow morning will be Amanda at Amanda's Favorites. Now, as I said, Tamra at the Paper and Pen Girl hosts this every year. If you go to her channel on December 26th, she will have a whole wrap up of kind of the entire topic. Okay, so my whole thing about getting the most out of your planner is probably something that you've heard me say if you've been around these parts for any length of time, and I've been around these parts for a little while, is to have a system, right? Having a system. Well, what does that mean, right? Like, you can say it, but what does that actually mean? So I can tell you what that means for me. So, or better yet, I can tell you what that does for me. What that means for me is that I can move from one planner to another, and as long as I literally don't physically lose anything, like I physically forget to write something down if I'm transferring information, I'm not going to lose anything because my system is always the same. I could be in rings, I could be in a bound book, I could be in a traveler's notebook. It doesn't matter. The system is always the same. And what I mean by that is things always have a home. It's about the flow of information into and out of the planner. If I need to write something down, I don't want to spend any time or mental energy trying to figure out where to write it. If I have to find something that I wrote down previously, I do not want to spend any time or mental energy tracking down where I wrote it. I don't want to depend on my phone to keep track of these things. I want them in my planner, because that's what a lot of people, just put it in your phone, you'll be able to find it. No, I won't. No, I won't. So I depend on what works for my brain, which is this chunk, okay? So getting the most out of my planner is about the system. It's about the flow of information in and out of my planner. It's about an economy of actions. I don't want to spend a ton of time, as much as I love my planner. I love my planner. If I'm going to spend time in my planner, I want to be doing stuff like journaling or decorating or actually planning. If I have to grab it to jot something down real quick, I shouldn't have to give a single thought to where I'm going to write it. And when I need to retrieve that information, I should only have to have one thought. Where did I put it? Oh, it's there. And then it's there when I look. So for me, that means, and I'm speaking kind of in terms of rings because that's what I'm using for an example, but this is applicable to regardless of the physical format, okay? I have to shift a little bit here. I'm uncomfortable. So what that means for me is everything has a home, okay? Everything has a place, and if I am having trouble, if I get a wrinkle in the system and I'm looking for information and I can't find it, that's my red flag, right? That something is wrong. I either wrote it in the wrong place to begin with, which shouldn't happen in my system. It does, we're human. Or I've misplaced it possibly, which generally doesn't happen, but it could. So every single section in here, and I know it looks crazy, I'm gonna take the pen out because that'll help. Everything in here has a home, and everything has a purpose. So everything going in here, I should say, has a home, and everything has a purpose. Now, what that might look like for you is having a bunch of sections, right? If your brain likes a bunch of sections, have them, right? The whole point of this is this thing works for you, you don't work for it, right? You've heard me say it 100 times. And for me, my brain likes compartments. My brain likes organization. So I have everything sectioned out, probably to the nth degree. For me, this is perfect. This may look like insanity to other people. I get that. I totally get that. So that's one of the ways I get my planner to work for me as best as possible. It's one of the ways I do get the most out of my planner is I have sections. I have everything sectioned out, and it starts from the yearly, so the year-long things in the front, and then the chunks of time get smaller as I move backward in the planner. So I go from my yearly to my monthly to my weekly to my daily, and the notes is just like reference stuff, like if anybody in the family has health stuff going on, the notes go back there. I have recipes back there that I don't have memorized yet. So if I'm at the store and I decide, oh yeah, I want to make that this week, I don't have to find a place in the store. It's a pretty big grocery store. In the back, I lose my signal a lot. I don't want to look up a recipe that I may have saved on my phone somewhere and deal with that. I just don't want to deal with that. I just have it on paper in here. So a little bit of a digression, sorry, but that's this whole notes section back here. Everything else in here, the rest of this chunk is, you could almost consider it chronological order, or it's like zooming in, right? The yearly section is going to be in here for the entire year. My yearly section has stuff like my husband's travel schedule for work. It has a yearly calendar, like an overview, right? So I have an overview, I have important dates written down, I have the hockey travel schedule, and then the next little bit of my yearly is my books for the year, what I read for the year. The next little bit is stuff I've been watching, audiobooks I've been listening to, podcasts I've been listening to, that's all in media. So this is the stuff that will stay here all year. Now, this is just how my brain works. These, I guess, could be considered trackers. I'm not good with trackers, but this kind of tracking I can do. So if you have a trackers section, maybe it makes more sense to you to put things like media or a reading log or whatever, podcast log, into a tracker section. Let's say you do a lot of trackers. That's fine, right? This is one of the few things in life for which there really are no rules. So I say enjoy that, because here's the thing. Everything tends toward chaos, and we can either use that to our advantage, right? And look at the gaps that might happen in our system because chaos ensues, because that's what it does, because everything tends toward it. And we can look at those gaps that we may find in our system and go, oh my gosh, how awful. My whole system is falling apart. It's probably not. It's probably not. That is kind of your system going, hey, there's a gap here. Okay, we'll treat that as an opportunity, right? So if you have trackers in one place and it's not working, well, if you're in rings or, discs or something like that, move them, right? If you're in a bound book, honestly, I've done this. I have trimmed them out nicely and pasted them onto a different page where I wanted them. Can't do that too many times. The pages get thick, but you know what I mean. Chaos is going to happen everywhere. Don't hesitate to play, right? Getting the most out of your planner has a lot to do with playing, being willing to play, or being open to maybe trying something different. It also has a lot to do with listening to your own brain. Listen to what you instinctively, when you have to write something down really quick, right in the moment, where do you go, right? Where do you go for that? For me, that's my daily. So to have things set up so that I have a big chunk of time, which is the year, smaller chunks of time, which is the month, smaller chunks of time from that, which is the week, right? So there's the month. So I go from the yearly to the monthly, and then my next little chunk of time would be the weekly, right? And then my next little chunk of time would be my daily. So for me, everything that I need to write down during the day goes onto my daily. I switch my dailies a lot. Sometimes I just use plain old grid paper and I just do like bullet journal style. Sometimes I go like this. I put my journaling in with my daily so that I use 2 pages per day so that I have room for all of that for any notes during the day. Anything that comes up, if I need to schedule an appointment, whatever, everything gets written here. This is almost kind of like an inbox. If you're trying this and this isn't working for you, maybe an inbox would work for you. Just one section where when things come in, that's where they get written. No questions. For me, a daily right now is working better. I've done the inbox thing, worked great for me at the time, and then my brain didn't like it anymore. So I went to this. So I have one catch-all every day. It's in the same place. It's in the same section. And then those things, sometimes at the end of the day, if it's been a really, really chaotic week, sometimes closer to the end of the week, I go through all my daily pages once a week and do a weekly review anyway. But anything I jotted down here, like, oh, okay, I scheduled, whatever appointment 3 months from now, blah, blah, blah. And it'll just get jotted over here. So I'll see that at the end of the day when I'm not in the moment, right? When I go, okay, I'll go back to that month because it's 3 months away, and I will jot it down in my monthly, right? So each little section is a different kind of zoom level on time. And for me, that creates an economy of actions. I can get in here, write down what I need to write down, get out and move on with whatever I was doing when I had to stop and write whatever down. I can pick this up to find a piece of information and I know where it is. And like I said, for me, that retrieval part is a lot about sections. It's a lot about tabbing things. Back in the notes section, if there's something important, it'll have like a little, metal tab on it, or it'll have like a page flag on it. If I'm working on a project, you'll find like page flags like this one sticking out. Different colors mean different things. That's another way you can get the most out of your planner is if your brain likes color coding, find a way to color code it. The cat's gonna jump up there and it's gonna shake this camera. Maybe she won't. So the whole point is an economy of actions. For me, that's how I get the most out of my planner, is keeping the flow of information as efficient as possible. Because then I'm not spending time digging around in here, getting frustrated, knowing I wrote something down and now I can't find it. And it's probably an important piece of information if I'm trying to retrieve it. So then I'm frustrated that I can't find it. I'm frustrated that I need it and I don't know where it is. And I'm frustrated that I lost it. Trust me, because I've done these things. So the best thing I can do is have a home for everything. Year-long stuff goes in the yearly section. Appointments, tasks that have to happen within a specific month, let's say, those go in the monthly section. I have an overview for the week so that I can see the week without having to look at the entire month. It's a lot easier on my brain to be able to see the week this way and not have other weeks slotted in above and below it. A nice big place for a list because things crop up during the week, right? And that is the other part of the whole economy of actions, flow of information. Those things work well if the wheels are greased. And for me, the things like a quick daily review, a weekly review, a monthly review, those are the things that kind of keep the machine running. Those are the things that keep things from falling through the cracks. And it doesn't take long. It doesn't like, okay, I need to sit down for an hour and do a weekly review. If it took me an hour to do a weekly review, I would never do it. I would never, ever do it. But I know I have to, like on Sunday usually, set up the upcoming week. So that is when I will do my weekly review for the week that's ending and go, okay, what didn't I get done? What needs to be migrated forward? Okay, now that I've done that, let me look at my monthly because I'm working in the weekly. So what's my next biggest chunk of time? That would be my monthly. Let me look at my monthly task list. Is there anything I need to get done this month that I haven't gotten done yet? I try to take, depending on how big the weekly task list is, I try to take a couple of things off the monthly and put them into specific weeklies. If they're not date specific, just kind of month specific, I try to chip away at that throughout the month instead of, because I used to just dump them all into the first week. That was a really bad habit I got into. And then I never got it all done and I got really overwhelmed and hard on myself about it. So now I pick a couple things from the monthly, if they're not date specific, just month specific, and I sprinkle them throughout the month in each weekly. I hope that makes sense. Having a place for appointments, having a place for day specific tasks, all of that kind of moving tasks from bigger chunks of time to smaller chunks of time, more zoomed in chunks of time. Reviewing this at the end of each week, peeking at my daily at the end of the day, doing a monthly review at the end of the month. That's where stuff from probably the yearly will get pulled into the monthly. Anything that didn't get done in that month that needed to, migrated forward. It's that zoom level of focus on what piece of time, what length of time am I looking at that keeps me on task, but then the review part keeps the machine running. It keeps that flow of information solid, right? So I hopefully don't have things fall through the cracks. Now life happens and things do fall through the cracks. Things don't get done. They're usually, for me, not things that didn't get written down. They're usually things that didn't get done because life happened, right? But that is the whole purpose of this, because that ties right back to the fact that everything tends toward chaos. So this is one little pocket of the universe that I am in complete control over, and that I can have as much fun as I want. I can be as organized and granular with my tab every little thing if my brain likes it in the moment. And that's okay, because there aren't any rules here. The only rules I have are ones I set, right? And that's my biggest one, is watch your flow of information. Make sure that the actions you're taking in here are efficient, an economy of actions, so that you can do the things instead of be in here looking for the things, right? So that you can accomplish the things and check them off the list and not be sitting here wondering where the heck the notes were that went with that thing, so you can actually do it. We want to be doing and not searching, right? So I hope that helps. I hope you've enjoyed this. Feels a little scattered, been a heck of a week. So please don't forget, if you have not seen Marcia's video from yesterday, please go watch that. I'll put all the links to everything down below, and watch for Amanda's video tomorrow. Again, links down below. And there is a full playlist of everybody's videos as each video gets posted. Tamra is adding them to a playlist on her channel at The Paper and Pen Girl. And make sure you go back to Tamra's channel on the 26th, because she's going to be doing a wrap up. So I hope this helps. I hope you're all doing well, and I really hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.